Okay, biology, there are two charts here for you to look at. I told you I'd put these up there. I would like you to first of all, pay close attention to the symmetry. Notice that the sponge is the only asymmetric that we have. The Cnidaria has a radial symmetry. Our radial symmetries move from place to place relatively slow, if at all, and then we go through to bilateral symmetry, such as ourselves, and more complex organisms. Then we have a term cephalization, and cephalization is associated with the concentration of sensory structures at the anterior end. That's very important. Those with cephalization tend to have bilateral symmetry. Now we'll talk in terms of the sponge. Remember, the sponge has no true tissue. It's other than its digestive system, it's made up of solid tissue. It's one of our unusual animals here. So you guys should remember the terms coelomate, acoelomate. I don't think we got into pseudocoelomate for this group, but remember, coelomate means it has that body cavity. Acoelomate, putting the A in front, negates it. So if we have before us an organism that we're examining, what would convince us that the organism would be acoelomate? Well, you would see the muscular activity of its digestive system distort the body wall. That would be one clue. We've also talked about the blastopore, the blastula, the hollow sphere that happens during gastrulation. And then we've talked about the protostome and the deuterostome. So right now we're going to switch to the next slide. Okay, right here, the Annelida is a segmented worm. That was one of the first ones that we did. You have a structure here. It's the clitellum, which is only found in the segmented worms or the Annelidas. Pay close attention to that structure. You should be able to identify it, and you should know what it's for. Then we see the mollusks. You should know something about those and so on. Bilateral, coelomate, and so on. They're arthropods. We have, this is a protostome that has an open circulatory system, and it also has an exoskeleton. And you should know a little bit about those. And don't forget about, going back to our segmented worms, don't forget about the nephridia. And what is that for? It's that structure that you find in every segment associated with waste and so on. If you don't know that, you should look that up in your book if you don't remember it. You should know some common characteristics of the chordates. You should know that separates the chordates from all other animals. You should know the sheet of muscle called a diaphragm is found in, what type of vertebrates is it found in. You should know the different types of teeth. I think there's 4 that I gave you on the PowerPoint. Characteristics of all mammals and only mammals. You should know some of those, a couple of those. You should talk about you should know how primates are different from other mammals. And we also have 3 different types of 3 major groups of animals. It's on the PowerPoint. We have the egg-laying, the marsupial, the pouch, and the placental. Review that PowerPoint too before you take this test.